Outside the Box, episode 2, Avenue Baby. I'm back again. I can't stress this enough. I'm not encouraging or telling people to stop gangbanging. You know, hang up the gloves. That's it. I love my hood. I'll never turn my back on my hood. I won't snitch on the hood. I won't rack out on the hood. But there comes a time in life where you got to progress. And you got to take care of business, take care of your family, your priorities, and think about the future. And that's what this podcast is about. I don't want to... So if you too gangster and you see yourself at 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old in the streets gangbanging, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you have dreams, talent, skills, and you want to get out the hood, not abandon the hood, don't say fuck the hood, because we always going to love our hood, but you want to get out the hood, then we're here to encourage you. And right now, we got a good story right here with the homie Brandon from Grape Street Watts. They call him BG. What's up? How you doing?
Oh, man. Stand out the way, man. Stand out the way. Working. That's it.
That's right. Your cousin actually hit me up. He seen one of my videos, and he really liked it. So he sent me an email. This is what he said. What's good, bro? I seen your interview on Street Gangs, and I just subscribed to your podcast. Bigs up for what you're doing, and I think it's a great idea. When you're ready to start doing interviews, I think my big cousin will be a perfect fit. He is an OG from Grape Street Watts and recently got out from doing 13 years. His story is crazy. He got sentenced to 15 years and only got at only 19 years old. First time ever being locked up because he refused to snitch. He's been out for almost 2 years, and now he is working full time and is really on his grind and handling his business. I think it would be a great interview if you guys could link up. Well, Sean, you made it happen. We linked up.
Man, he been taking care of me even the time I was in prison. He taking care of me out and in. This is real.
Man, I know how it feels. I have cousins that are locked up doing life, you know, so I feel fucked up because I haven't even sent them a card or anything. You know, I haven't sent them money. But when I was locked up, they wouldn't send me shit either. So it goes both ways. No love lost, though.
Yeah, because, I mean, you know, Sean was going to the Navy.
Yeah.
And when I first got locked up, and he was writing me while he was on the boat.
Oh.
You know, and, you know, he would always write me, tell me to keep my head up. If I need anything, holler at him. You know, sending me pictures, you know, all over the world, wherever they was going, China, Japan.
While you
know
just looking at four walls.
Yeah, I'm looking at four walls, but, you know, he put my mind somewhere else where a lot of other people turned their back. You know what I mean? But he was always there, you know what I mean? You know, and I would always say vice versa, you know what I mean? When I was on the streets, you know, you had a problem, man, come holler at me. You don't need to gang bang. You don't need to do none of that. Just call me. I'll take care of it. You know what I mean? And you good. You know what I mean? And that's just how we rock, you know?
Yeah. He really looked up to you because he really looks up to you. And to this day he does, because he also said, I grew up broke as fuck. I went off to college, got a business degree, and changed my life. When I see my big cousin GB get all the time, that shit turned me off from the streets. I guess you can say I learned from his mistakes. He looks up to you, you know?
And yeah, and I mean, that's a cold way to have somebody look up to you, but sometimes it takes that, you know, for someone not to follow in your footsteps or do the same thing or even do something close to it that would get you a bunch of time, take you away from your family, your kids, if you have kids, if you don't have kids, your mom, your granny, because over that time frame, 12 years, 13 years, a lot of people die, you know, and
a lot of things change.
I don't do funerals myself, but it's just the point of you wasn't even there to say, I love you, I miss you, I hope you get better, you know, goodbye. It's a lot of different things, and a lot of people don't look at that part of it. You know what I mean? And it kind of fucks with you if you see in the mail you get obituaries.
Yeah.
And you look up and you have a big yellow envelope full of obituaries. over the years you've been gone, all these people that have died, and you didn't even get to say goodbye. You never got to eat their cooking again. Your grandmother, your great grandmother.
Right.
Yeah, I've lost these people. My grandfather, my grandmother, two of my grandmothers. You know, my grandfather, my great grandmother.
Nobody cooked like them, man.
Nobody cooked like them. No more going over there to their house, you know, trying to get you some cornbread real quick, you know,
Have
a bowl
all
of
the
cereal.
cousins together.
Everybody over there taking pictures, you know, just the love, you know, and it takes, and it shouldn't take someone to go to jail to understand and feel that. You know what I mean? You should feel that off the back. And that's more what my life is now. I try to, you know, I don't preach. I don't preach to nobody. I don't tell nobody you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. You know, I'm more with showing than telling.
Exactly.
And, you know, you from the hood, you gonna be from the hood. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I did it. You know what I mean? My brothers did it. My dad did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody did it. We all did it. You know what I mean? It's in our blood. You know, a lot of homies are cousins. They not just homies. They cousins.
Right.
They brothers. They sisters. They nieces, nephews, uncles. You know what I mean? And it's not as easy as, oh yeah, I don't think you should do it. But you always give them that opposite. You got two hands for a reason. You can gangbang, but you can also go to college. You know what I mean? You can better your education, graduate from high school. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that don't graduate from high school, but smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They always say the smartest people in prison.
Exactly.
You know what I
That's
mean?
what I'm about to say.
Yeah, you know, I've seen people do all type of stuff, building boats out of soap. You know what I mean? Drawing, you know, people's pictures, and they draw it and it looked like a copy machine. Like they copied it out of a copy machine.
Right.
You know, that's a talent, you know, and that's why they always say when people get these cards from prison. I used to do cards because I can draw. So I used to do cards for people, you know what I mean? To make sure I still had extra canteen and extra soups, you know, everything. And, you know, that's why I always say it's more to it. You know, you love the hood. The hood raised you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're going to always love the hood. You're going to love the homies. You know what I mean? You're going to love them if they here, if they gone. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have a few that, that's not good, you know, that you find out later on that ain't good. You know what I mean? That, you know, but everybody can't do the pressure. You know what I mean? And being a gang member or a piece of a gang member, a lot of that is, you know, a struggle for a lot of people. Yeah. You know what I mean? And some people is just built for it, you know, and built to last. But once again, there's always something more to look forward to. I personally think that. It's
and you found out the hard way.
The hard way.
Right.
I found out the hard way because, you know, I never wanted to be the man. I wanted to be the right hand to the man.
Right.
And I always looked at it as everyone else, they're not scared of the man because the man don't get his hands dirty.
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? The man don't get his hands dirty. But that guy standing next to him,
he don't care.
He don't care. And he's the one that the man is going to see in when you wake up and that dude is standing over you. And you like, oh, wait. You know, that's the last person you see. You know what I mean?
You'd rather be feared than respected. Yeah.
You know, and because he's going to get the respect. You know, right. the man is going to get the respect because most likely he's the one with the money. But that guy next to him has the money, but he has the heart to do the stuff that the man don't have. Yeah. You know what I mean? And everybody's not like that. A lot of people pretend to be like that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they get to throwing them years at you and they fold. Oh, no, yeah, it was him. He told me to do it and he gave me the gun. And, you know, they do a lot of that. And, you know, and of course you get them out of the way. You know, you figure who those people are and you put them to the side where you don't deal with them. But it's a lot to it. You know, a lot of people only know pieces, but it's a whole lot to it. You know what I mean? And but you know, it's a cold world, man. It's a cold world. It's a cold world.
You're born and raised in Watts?
Born and raised in Watts. I lived in the San Fernando Valley also with my mom. My mom is from Watts, from the Jordan Downs. My dad is from Watts, from the Jordan Downs. My mom used to live in the Jordan Downs, then moved out of the Jordan Downs to the Hacienda Village.
Okay.
Which is down the street.
Just a little nicer.
Yeah, it's smaller, way smaller, and a little bit nicer. And she moved there, and then ended up moving to the San Fernando Valley, and that's where she wanted to live. You know.
Did you go with her?
Yeah, I went with her. But you know, I was always back and forth. You know, because my brothers on my dad's side are all from the projects, from my projects.
They're
you know what I'm saying?
Knee deep in the game.
Yeah, you know, we all knee deep. You know. But we all are trying to better, you know, our lives. You know, we've all done time except for one of us. We've all done time, and the one that didn't do time looked out for all of us.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
And you know, that's one
that
of my
you,
big
Sean?
brothers.
Is that you, Sean?
No, well, no, that's my cousin. That's my big brother, Cody.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He looked out for all of his brothers. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we was good. You know, even when he couldn't really do for us, he did what he could. You know, his wife did what she could. You know what I mean? And but he's well known and respected. You know, not just for looking out for his brothers, but looking out for everybody that he's ever been around.
Yeah.
You know, guys that he grew up with that are not his homies or my homies, but their family. And he's always treated everybody like that. Everybody he comes around that's in his circle, that's, you know, anywhere around him, he look at him as family, you know, and you know, whether you in there and you call him and he accepting your call, putting money on the phone so you can call, sending you a package, sending you some money, you know, everybody don't do that, you know. Yeah. It is a beautiful thing.
It's a privilege because a lot of people don't got that coming in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you also have where he helps you where your mom don't have to, you know, take a little bit off of your mom, and, you know, your mom, your dad, your sister, your woman, you know, a lot of people, because, you know, we all know those packages cost.
Oh, they cost.
And that store, it costs, you know what I mean?
I remember when I first went to the county, soups were like maybe like 90 cents.
And I think when I went, they were
top ramen,
like $1, like
top
$1
ramens.
a piece, $1 something a piece.
Yeah, top ramens. You go to 99 cents, they're like 25 cents each,
if not less than that.
Yeah. And now they're going for about 170.
Yeah,
soup.
They killing in there.
And we have no choice but to buy it.
But to buy it,
we hungry.
Because if I mean, the food that they're gonna give you is trash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you really do. You're not gonna, if you can even stomach it. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to buy something. And that's why they always want you to prolong when you're fighting your case.
Right.
They want you to prolong it, and sit in there longer. Yeah, it helps because they give you double days. Every day you're in there adds for 2.
Right.
You know what I mean? That helps. You know, in the long run, if you get time, it helps. But I mean, think how much money you spent just in the county in food. Yeah. Not phone calls. Not
too,
gas,
though.
no nothing.
But
I'm
just
talking
food.
about just food.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of money. I'm talking about a lot of money. You might spend enough money you can get a car. You know what I mean? For real. And I mean, in a year, I mean, you might can get a car. You know, and literally pay cash and get a car.
My mom used to send me $30 because that's all she could do at the time.
Mm-hmm.
$30 wasn't enough.
Yeah, $30 back then
last
would get
me
you,
like 2 days.
Yeah, might get you a case of soups.
Yeah.
Back then, it might get you literally a case. I think they was selling them for like $20 altogether.
You're just gonna eat plain soups.
Yeah.
No chips with it.
Mm-hmm.
No pickles. No none of that.
Yeah, trust me. I know, man, and I hate it. I don't even eat soups.
Right.
Because I was eating soups for so long. I don't soups. No, that's out.
Yeah.
You know, I tell
only
them real
because
quick.
our taste buds were so depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It was tasty and great in there, but now, nah, we got that rich shit over here.
Mm-hmm. For real.
When people look at me, they don't believe I'm 30 years old, and I believe that it's something that the it's something prison and, you know, juvenile hall does to us. It keeps us looking young. How old are you?
I'm 35.
You don't look 35.
And everybody says that. I think prison is like a freezer.
Right?
I think it's more like a freezer, and that's why a lot of us be stuck in that whatever time we came in.
Oh, yeah.
But we still think it's that way.
I truly believe that. Like, if you go in at 18 years old and you get out 10 years later, you still think like an 18-year-old because you never had the time to actually do grown-up shit.
Exactly.
You know, you haven't seen responsibilities.
I mean, yeah, I went in at, 20? Got my time around like 21 and got out, and I was 30. I was 33, 34, somewhere around there. So
how old were you when you first started gangbanging? Well,
when I first started
when you first
gangbanging?
started realizing gangbanging's around you.
Oh man,
because you come from that environment.
Yeah, I've been noticing, you know, the gangbanging all my life. All my life, you know, like I say, my dad, my uncles, like all of my uncles,
you were always
brothers,
hear shootings.
You know,
you was always
you was always around it. You know, I was less around it when I lived in the valley, because the valley didn't have it like that. But you know, and Watts, you know, it's Watts. You hear a lot about Compton, you know, and how dangerous Compton is, and NWA, and you know, but Watts is somewhat something. Exactly. You know, Watts is small, but Watts is very strong, and very dangerous. You know, besides the Watts riots and, you know, the few little movies and, you know, people mentioning, you know, Grape Street and, you know, other hoods, and, you know, it's a whole nother ball game, you know, and that's why they say only the strong will survive. Yeah. You know, but it's a lot of us. It's a whole lot of us, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of us. Every time I used to hit prison yards, you run into maybe 8 or 9 other grapes on the yard. Yeah. No matter what yard you hit, you know, and, you know, we're always usually, as far as blacks, a good number of us. I know it's sad to say it, but, you know, it's always a good number of us. You know, wherever you go, any prison, most likely.
Sometimes you don't even know each other.
No, but I always tell people when they say, "Oh, well, you don't know that person, you don't know that person," and I tell them that Grape is not small. You know, it's not small. It's a project. You know, we have other streets. We have Grape Street is worldwide now. New York, New Jersey. You know, Oakland. You know, it's a lot of, I think in Atlanta, it's a lot of grapes in a lot of places.
But
you know,
when you're in there and you start talking to each other, like, so who you be fucking with out there? And once they start mentioning the right names, you're like, all right, I could fuck with you now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, is that, you know, people get on the phone and they call people, and just because we don't know each other don't mean I don't know some of the people that you know, or some of your family members, or you don't know some of my family members. And if you really dig real deep, truthfully, we might end up being related. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the projects. You know, this person is messing with that person, and you look up and that person is your cousin, and that person is his cousin, and they got kids together. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it just goes like that. You know, I mean, it can happen anywhere. You know, I mean, see, now that's why a lot of times we be like, well, what's your name? You know, you holler at a girl, what's your name? Well, who is your family members? Because, you know, you don't want to be messing with your cousin. Right. You know what I mean? And, you know, but you find out a lot. You know what I mean? Dealing with everything, you find out a lot.
So, when you first got arrested, you went straight to the big boys. How old were you?
I was 20 when I got arrested.
So, when you first started gangbanging, and then to the point that you finally got arrested, you avoided juvenile hall, camps, YA, all of that. You must have been smooth out there, right?
I tried to be very smooth. I always I always say to think 3 steps ahead. Yeah. And in whatever you do, no matter what, And I say that because that's how I stayed out, you know. And
it works.
It works. It really does. I mean, it's just like fighting. Okay, if you pick a fight, you have to strategize for it, because if you just go in, you don't know what this person can do. You know, you hit him and your punch ain't as hard as you thought it was, and he hit you and he hitting harder. You know what I mean?
But if you watch and study film, you see their tendencies.
Exactly. And you see, he gonna put this arm down, and he not even hitting hard because look how he did this, and you know it's all about strategy.
It's always great to be prepared.
Always,
right?
Always.
So that night that you got arrested, what happened? Like, I mean, I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about it.
No, it's cool. Yeah, I did my time already. You can't get charged with the same thing. Yeah. You know, we went to go do some stuff without giving specifics. We went to go do some stuff and it wasn't planned out.
Yeah.
And I went just to go to make sure everything went good. And it didn't go the way that they thought it was going to go because it wasn't planned out.
Yeah.
So when it went all bad, you know, we had to go on a mini high-speed chase, you know, and I had to...
What was it, a robbery?
A robbery. It was a robbery, you know, and I had to, you know, you got to break, you know, weapons down, because the way that they were giving out time for weapons were like outrageous. I think you get 10 years for the gun. Your max for the gun is 10 years. And that's just with the gun enhancement. That's 10 years. Then it was doing 5 years per bullet, you know, and you know, okay.
And if it's for the benefit of the gang, that's gang
that's gang
enhancement.
Exactly. See, I never got the gang enhancement. You know, I never got the gang enhancement. And the reason I didn't get the gang enhancement is, not because, but I didn't get it. And they didn't put anything with gang on me until I got to prison. The whole time I was in the county, never. Not until I went to prison and the goon squad hit my cell.
Yeah.
And they hit my cell.
Seen everything.
And matter of fact, before they hit my cell, one of my homies wrote me a letter. And they took the letter before it got to me. And then they came to my cell and said, "Who's in here? GB from Grape Street." We like, nah, ain't no GB from Grape Street up in here. Yeah, we don't do that up in here. We don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, ain't no GB from Grape Street up in here. We like, nope. So he walked away and came back with the letter and reopened the letter and read it to me and said my name and hand me the letter. "So you not GB?" "Nah, man, I don't know who that is." I'm not gonna never tell on myself.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell on nobody else, but I damn sure ain't gonna tell on myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I think maybe a month later, we had to do something on the yard. We had to get somebody up off the yard. One of the homies was fighting, and the goon squad ran up on the yard, and one of the other goon squad asked me, "Where you from?" I told her nowhere, because I wasn't under the gang enhancement or anything.
Yeah. And
I told her nowhere, and the other guy, same goon squad guy, came. He said, "Oh, that's GB from Grape Street." He's like, "Yeah, he from Grape Street. He from Grape Street. He from Grape Street. He from Compton." Just pointed us all out, you know, and it's been on me ever since then.
Yeah.
You know,
it follows you.
It follows you, you know, and I mean, you know, with any other person besides the actual police, okay, yeah, I'm GB from Grape Street, you know what I mean? But, you know, that's not something you just go tell the police, you know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah, you don't do that, you know what I mean? We were raised better than that, you know?
So when you got arrested, like I said, you never went to the halls, camps, none of that.
No.
You went straight to the county jail.
Yes.
How were you thinking, and what was going on through your head when you first got there? Because you didn't have no previous experience being locked up.
Yeah, it was an eye opener. You know, I knew that this was more of the opportunity. I was always told the county is where you make your name.
Yeah.
The halls, when you're a kid, is where you make your name. But the county, as a grown-up, this is where you make your name. And the younger you are in there, the more your name will ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I went in there with 2 more of my homies, and and I think if I'm correct, the day we went in there, we were fighting that day. Not with each other, but with some guys we didn't get along with that just was fighting another one of our homies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was that day. The same day. We just got fingerprinted downstairs. The exact same day. But, once you're in there, you're in there. And it is what it is. The strong will survive. And what we say is you can't turn nothing down. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And your one thing to think of is I have to make it out. Regardless of what it is, I need to make it out. I've been stabbed in riots. I've been stabbed. I've been in plenty of riots. I've been stabbed in my side. I was fighting and still had the knife in me and never even knew it until the riot was completely over. The adrenaline was going, and when I got out, I'm seeing people come out with knives in their eyes. People broke legs, broke arms. People screaming, walking with the knife in their eye.
Pepper spray everywhere.
Pepper spray everywhere. And when they brought you out, the woman was pulling on me. The nurse was pulling on my clothes. I'm like, I'm good. And she said, well, where all this blood coming from? What blood? And she's like, right here. And my whole pants was full of blood. I never noticed it, and she lifted the shirt up, and I had a knife inside of me. And she was like, oh, you been hit. And I just pull a knife out, and she like, no, don't do that. And the blood just started pushing out even more. And next thing you know, boom, I pass out, because I'm losing too much blood. I pass out, and my homie standing right there. He's slapping me in the face, talking about, you better not die on me. You better not die on me. And I wake back up, and I tell him, motherfucker, if you don't stop slapping me and all this, and, they stitched me up, and, they took me and stitched me up. They threw me in the hole, and I got out, and, I'm on to another floor, and I'm walking in, and guys is banging on you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Regardless of you being hurt, it is what it is. It is, and as soon as I walk in, okay, I got my store and all that. I dropped my stuff, hurt and all, but, I had some more homies in there, and, they looked out for me until I got completely better. You know what I mean? And it was back to doing what I got to do, that's how it goes.
And then how did you, I'm pretty sure since you were like the one with no record or anything, the DA tried to push up on you. They're like, oh, okay, if I push up on him, he might just spill the beans.
Yeah, the DA wanted me to tell. They wanted me to tell because I didn't have a record, and they felt that I would be the weak link because I didn't have a record and I never went through it before. But the one thing that they didn't pay attention to was I didn't have a record, which gave me enough time to watch a lot of TV. And I watched a lot of TV and a lot of SVU and
First
all
48.
of those, First 48 SVUs and all these other little shows that tell you when you get arrested, don't say anything. And with me not saying anything, I don't say anything, and boom, without me saying nothing, they have nothing to use against me.